This is going to be a very special space. We're going to be talking a lot about AI, which is one of people's favorite topics. I'm well aware of all this. Trying to return like sovereignty and ownership of your data to you so that you profit from your data, you own your data, you decide what happens to what you do on the internet. So just subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will really enjoy it, I'm sure. And our testnet's just gone nuts. I mean, we've got over 60,000 wallets on the testnet now. And it's this free version of ChatGPT Omni. They're going to be taking your voice. They're going to be taking your images. They're going to be taking every single data point that you put in there, and that will be used for their benefit, for their value. In your view, guys, everyone on the panel, please put your hands up if you want to answer. Will AI become a competitor to humans or a tool for them in the future?
Yeah, to just use it as a tool. But this time with AI, it's like the first time where I'm really concerned about the future, because we really don't know where it heads to. And maybe not concerned really about my own life, but already about my son's life, for instance. He's 14 soon, so I don't know what this will bring to his life, or where this will end in his life.
iPads, anything which takes the attention away from the kids, anything which, you know, if they're going to spend time scrolling TikTok, YouTube, anything which is not educational, doesn't serve them, doesn't teach them the right stuff.
Okay, I'm going to take this all the way back now to Galactica, because the true value of everything that we're doing in blockchain is you. Okay, it's people, it's individual humans. It's value for us. It's the ability, like we've done the finance thing, we've done that. We are able to, you know, have immutable free transactions around the world, limitless financial interactions with smart contracts and with in a decentralized manner. Decentralization is freedom. Remember that. But what we are trying to do with Galactica is make that for you, so you can own yourself, own your identity, own your data, own everything that makes you you, and keep it that way, so that you are not lost in the field of artificial intelligence. So you are not just scraped of your data, just like these companies coming along and cutting you to pieces of your data and then selling it without your permission. It's bonkers how much of this stuff is going on, and the only way to protect yourself is to own yourself. So we want to make sure that you can do that. You can have a verifiable identity while maintaining your rights and freedoms, maintaining your privacy, maintaining everything that makes you you, and then allowing you to talk to the real world as well, being interoperable with the real world while maintaining all those freedoms as well. And these will be like really, really fun quests. There'll be educational quests, just pure community quests, all sorts of stuff that will enable you to boost yourself in the team leaderboards on Zealy, and allow you to get eligible for all these ridiculously cool rewards. So there are rewards for individuals, and there are rewards for teams.
My question is exactly about privacy, and I wanted to ask it just before. I'm not a geek, so all what you're saying, I'm quite convinced, but at the same time, when you say we need to keep privacy for ourselves and we're going to put all this in a KYC, then first thing I'm thinking about is, what about my KYC? Is it possible that anyone can steal it?
No.
Because then there is no privacy for me. And if it is not stealed, if it's not possible, can you explain how and why? Because I'm saying why I'm saying this is because many of us, we are not geeks. So we may think it's interesting what you're doing, but we won't understand how and why if it's not said in a very simple way.
So firstly, no one can steal your KYC, just straight up there. And the reasons why. So we use what are called, what we call guardians. And what those guardians are essentially just off-chain or on-chain, and it doesn't really matter. They're just entities that notarize information into private tokens called zero knowledge, called ZK certificates, right?
I come from France, and I'm happy to be part of the Galactica project in order to regain control of confidentiality on the web. The Galactica community is incredible, very welcoming. It's like a second family.
Is there or will there be a possibility that our ZK KYC can be used on other networks? Yes, absolutely. So this is one of the primary reasons why we decided to build on the Cosmos SDK. It allows us to use the IBC, which is one of the strongest, most secure, and most reliable interoperability protocols that there exists in Web3. So we have access to this. And we fully intend to utilize it to be able to export your identity, your reputation data, all in a private format of our zero knowledge certificates. So you'd be able to prove whatever you want on almost any chain that's connected to the IBC, or in fact to other interoperability protocols on EVM stuff. So we are trying to make Galactica essentially the hub of trust for Web3, for Web3 as a whole. Like that's the goal. It's that large in scope. So yes, you will almost certainly be able to export your KYC data, your reputation to other networks, and be able to use the trust that you've built on Galactica for that purpose. Without compromising your privacy. Very important.
Underlying ideas behind Galactica, even though it's a very long-term vision, is to build something that's called cipher state, and for that you need the sovereignty of the infrastructure, of course.
Could you describe the protocol in a few words for the audience that really doesn't know about Galactica?
So Galactica, in like a one sentence, would be the identity layer: sovereign, compliant, privacy-preserving identities, and the ability to build reputation.
Similar things. So basically, it's a set of tools for people to recreate their digital identity on chain, and then use this digital identity to pretty much be able to do new use cases which haven't been attainable on a blockchain before.
Maybe could you briefly summarize what is a zero knowledge proof? Because I think it will be really...
Basically, the zero knowledge proof is just a way for me to prove to you a certain statement about a black box, which I have, without opening the black box for you.
Okay, and how does all this stuff leads us back to you mentioned the ZK KYC? I think it's really both interesting and curious concept for part of the crypto audience. So what is the ZK KYC and how does it work?
We're thinking about that DeFi is not ready for mass adoption because lack of consumer protection. So basically, you can think about it in this way. So on the spectrum, you have permissionless Wild West cowboy Web3 on one side, basically the DeFi as we know it. You have, it's pretty much, it's full sovereignty, but little regulation. You have CBDCs, which is no sovereignty, but a lot of regulation. And basically both of them are kind of a little bit dystopian in a different ways though. So you need something in the middle. And the something in the middle is something that's known as compliant privacy. So how can I satisfy the regulatory requirements without giving my passport to every single exchange that wants to onboard me? So that's what ZK KYC does. So
how is the data processed and stored by your network? I think all these pretty sensible documents necessary for KYC, necessary for the credit score. For
the network does not process any data. So that's the important stuff. So all the data is handled by the guardians. Guardians are basically just nodes in the network, such as Swissborg, for example.
How are you envisioning the development of a cipher state in front of course, all the classical stuff, classic state and all geopolitical stuff in the real world?
Very importantly, Galactica is an infrastructure for you to be able to recreate your digital self and use that digital self on a blockchain. That would be the idea. So that's a very simple definition, I guess. So it's just a blockchain protocol sufficiently functional to recreate the political institutions, financial institutions, and social institutions of nation states.
There's a notion, of course, of token and the vote, but it's a little bit different. So may I ask, how does it work to govern on Galactica network?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much the same question as if I would ask you, can you explain to me the governance of friends, right? You would say, well, bro, I can't.
Yeah, of course. So what would be the main point to remember from this discussion?
Well, the main point I would send home, I guess, is that opening the social dimension in Web3 will give rise to use cases that none of us can even comprehend at the moment. So it's a new universe, new galaxy, if you will, of use cases that will completely turn the way we are using internet, completely change the way we're thinking about Web3, and completely change the power and the economic dynamics in the world. So basically, the social dimension of Web3 is the very important piece of the puzzle towards making humanity a better thing, world a better place, etc.